Rates subject to change. Pay 2.13% fee to receive this discounted rate. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. License in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
Get ready. It's Fight Night in Youngstown with your host, owner and editor of YoungstownBoxingNews.com, Brian Vaughn.
We are back at you from the Gessler Propane Studios here in the beautiful and wonderful Struthers, Ohio. Brian, Vinny, joined here with special guest from Alliance, Ohio, Ryizeemmion Ford. Just had his pro debut this past Saturday at the MGM Grand Northfield Park. First round TKO victory, man. How's it feel to get that pro debut finally out of your way, man?
Feel good. Feel lovely. It was a dream come true, man. I've been waiting for this forever. I've been talking about it ever since I was in high school. So it finally happened. So I'm pumped.
You know, early on the fight, you know, you fought 32-year-old Michael Russell, Bowling Green. I think he had some MMA background, and you know, you can tell he came to fight, man, no doubt about it. But you know, you did your thing, man. You asserted your height early, and you waited for that opening. You didn't come out all wild like some guys do.
Yeah.
You waited for that opening. You caught him. You stunned him, and you smelled blood. You were like a piranha, and you came in and you finished it, man. It was awesome, but just an all-around great night of fights. It was a pro-am card. Put on by the World Fighting Championship. Only 3 pro fights that night. Antonio Neves from Cleveland with a KO2 victory over Jose Alfredo Rodriguez. Malante Green from Cleveland heavyweight TKO second round over Michael Glasscox of Columbus, Ohio. Then Ryizeemmion Ford. But I was talking to Ryizeemmion before we came on the air, man. The amateur fights they had on that night were awesome. But fighting that night is somebody you became pretty good friends with. A young man who's a former Mount Union football standout, Raquel Brown.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
And this was only, his about 8th or 9th amateur fight?
That was his 8th or 7th, I believe so.
Okay, 8th or 7th fight. And he fought a 200-pound or 201-pound weight class there, but he fought a guy named Charles Smith. He showed some all right things, but you could tell there was an experience differential there. And hopefully it's a learning experience for Raquel. And, you know, it was a decent fight, man. But as you said, and we talked after the fight, you know, it's a learning experience.
Yeah, he's up and coming. You know, I'll just try to lead the path for him so he can follow my footsteps. And he's going to do all right, though.
If you're just joining here, Ryizeemmion Ford, 1-0 professional fighter from Alliance, Ohio. You had over 60 amateur fights.
Yeah, over 60-something, close to 70.
And you know, when we talk about the amateur game, it's hard to get fights here in Ohio. You know, when the amateurs. How many times would I see you at fights? You know, you're scheduled to fight at, and you just end up hanging out with me for half the night because your fighter never showed up. And you know, it's not like Danny Rosenberg. I've talked to him when he lived in Florida. If you go out to Nevada or something like that, you talk to guys, or out in California. Vinny, we talked about this. They pretty much have, like, you know, fight night. These aren't fight cards put together for promoters to make money. These are fight cards put together for guys to get experience.
Yeah, experience.
And pretty much you just show up with your passport, and they pair guys up right then and there.
Passbook.
What'd I say? Passport?
Passport. Yeah, we're not traveling.
We're not going to Canada?
Negative.
All right. So passbook. This isn't like, you know, here in Ohio, man, it seems like, you know, everybody who's putting on a fight, it's about making the dime first, then, you know.
Why don't we step back real quick? Why don't you explain what a passbook is to people that might not know? People probably have no idea what you're talking about, a passbook. Like, what the hell are you talking
You're the one that runs the amateur program at Southside Boxing Club.
You know what you were talking. I'm just saying, you know, saying we're talking passbook.
All right,
you know
I need an opening here to take this thing off because it's a little warm in here. So,
so I'm gonna have to step in. So a passbook, for anybody who doesn't know, is you know, when you become an amateur fighter, they give you what looks like a passport. It's a little book, and it controls all your information based on your weight and all your birth date and all that, this and that, so they can match you up. But it also keeps track of how many fights you got, who you're fighting, where you fought, who the judge was, who the referees were, and all that other good stuff.
Yeah.
So that's a little, for anybody that doesn't know, that's what a passbook is in amateur boxing. and it's given to you through USA Boxing, which makes you a member of the USA Boxing, which gives you the opportunity, to end up fighting in the Olympics or the Olympic trials or having a path to fight in the Olympics. There he goes.
All right.
Back to you. Shirts off. Brian's ready to
Let
go.
him know.
I'm ready to roll here, It gets hot in here, man. You got a lot of computer equipment in here or whatnot. But, no, you fought this fight at the super featherweight division.
Yeah.
Is that going to be the weight moving forward, or you kind of grinning there? So,
Yeah, I'm gonna fight at 126, 130.
so you're going to fluctuate wherever you can make a fight,
Yeah,
pretty much.
Wherever they say come in at, I'll come in at that weight.
And anybody who doesn't know, I mean, that's the thing. There's fighters who want to just come to the gym when there's time to fight. But if you follow Ryizeemmion like I have, you stay in the gym pretty much. I mean, so
Yes, sir.
making weight's really not going to be an issue for you.
No, it's not hard. I work out 4 to 5 times a day.
'Cause you do different things. I know you work out at a strength training gym with
Unbreakable performance.
and that's with Lonnie.
Yeah, Lonnie TK.
And Lonnie's awesome, man.
that's
He
my
was
guy.
sitting right behind me at the fights, man. And I know he's Kelly Pavlik's strength coach and all that. So if you ever had a fight, you hear a big guy, yelling, man, very distinguished voice. That's gonna be Lonnie, man. And
Big guy.
he knows the sport, man.
Yeah, he do.
He knows the sport, but
You mean a huge guy?
oh no, come on.
He's real in tune
He's huge.
to boxing.
Yeah, he knows the sport, man. He was awesome to have sitting behind me on fight night, man. We was BSing the whole time, so that was awesome. I talked to you earlier, wrote stories and whatnot, and moving forward, you're hoping for maybe a July date.
Yeah, my managers are looking at July 13th, hopefully in Pittsburgh.
That'd be at the Carnegie Music Hall of Homestead. That'd be Integrity Fighters promoted card. Mike McSorley. I know Oleg Dovin and oh man, here
Good
comes
luck.
that
Is
name.
Oleg,
Good luck.
Is Oleg supposed to be on there?
Oleg's supposed to be on there, and Lumbar,
Yeah, I believe
Pinchuk?
so. Limbar, I think so.
Limbar,
I think that's how you
Puchuk,
say it.
who I was talking to you about this. He just fought out in Detroit. A 10-round fight, cruiserweight fight. It was for a kind of like a WBC kind of like branch belt, and I think that the winner would have came out with like a mandatory like type top 15 rating. So
Okay.
he went out to Michigan, which if you talk to people, man, and I talked to Jack Lowe today, and we were talking about that, and Jack said you don't want to go out to Michigan. Minnesota's like another one of those states. Those are states you want to avoid. With not too good athletic commissions, judges who have no integrity. And I watched the fight live stream, and Lumbar he dominated this fight 9 out of 10 rounds.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the decision came back a split draw. And and then I was reading some Facebook comments, and Mike McSorley and his promoter and manager were going back and forth. And the guy from Michigan's manager, as he was saying, nobody lost, they both win. Well, you know what? When you got the top 15 mandatory rating coming on, how are you going to say nobody wins? You just watch your guy, and if you're managing a career, you know the sport, you know the sport, you know your guy lost, so don't try to sugarcoat it. But Mike McSorley's actually on his way out to Vegas. They're flying out tonight. He's taking his 2 Ukrainian kids. They're going to go watch the Tyson Fury fight this weekend. And our next show, he's going to call in, kind of talk his next upcoming card, and he's going to kind of express his feelings for the judges in that fight in the Michigan Athletic Commission. So definitely looking forward to that. But we're going to kick things back over here to Ryizeemmion.
Wait. While you were on that, let's talk about real quick. You're talking about who's going to be on that upcoming show from here in Youngstown. We were just talking about
we
it.
was going. I was going to get to that, man. I
you were
was
just talking about it though. So let's
all
jump on
right.
it.
Let's get it before I forget. You're saying.
Yeah.
All right.
Before we get sidetracked,
Youngstown heavyweight Daniel Infante. He's got a 1-and-run record. The 31-year-old heavyweight is going to be traveling out to Las Vegas to fight on the Tyson Fury undercard, and he's got no easy task ahead of him to say coming up Saturday night, the MGM Grand Garden. as he is scheduled to take on up-and-coming, hard-hitting, 6'4" heavyweight out of Philadelphia, Sonny Conto, who is actually signed to Top Rank Boxing. Conto will be coming into the bout, I believe, with a 2-0 record, with both wins coming by way of knockout. He is a 2017 National Golden Gloves Tournament national champion and a silver winner in the 28th edition of the tournament. So Daniel Infante, this is coming to this fight at 1-1, and I think this is a way of showing, you know what, I'll take on anybody, anytime, any place.
He just fought my boy Ronnie Hines.
Yeah, he did fight Ronnie Hines, and I believe he was the first fighter that Hines hadn't stopped, if I'm not mistaken. So, did you see the fight?
Yeah, I was there.
How did he look? I mean, you can be honest.
He looked all right. Ronnie was just a little sharper.
Yeah, I mean, and going in, I mean, obviously, Daniel was the B side of that fight, I was actually a little like, I think a lot of people thought that Ronnie was going to get him out. So I mean,
did too.
For him to survive,
that was a
most
true fighter's answer. With respect to another fighter, that was a true fighter answer. You know what I mean? As a fighter, fighters. First of all, we're in the hurt business, but we tend to be some of the nicest, most humble, friendliest people that you'll ever meet. And a lot of people don't really realize that. And what I was getting at is when fighters are talking about other fighters, especially people like Ford over here. But I want Johnny Ford. You know what I mean? That's what I'm about to throw it at
I
you.
finally learned to spell his name this week in Ryizeemmion.
Yeah, it's a tough one, man. So
I just learned how to spell it too. Y'all good.
So anyways, it's usually hard to.
Hey, Danny Infante's tuned in right now, man. He just said yes, sir. So
yeah, it's always complicated to really put a point of view out there towards other fighters based on a respect, unless that fighter happens to be in your weight division. Guys that are outside of our weight divisions, we usually tend to be a little bit kinder and more humble to our speaking about other fighters, you know what I mean, rather than when we fight guys or talk about guys that happen to be in our weight division, because, you always have the opportunity to fight that guy, so you tend to, not have the same feelings towards people in your own weight class, Just to touch on that, as a fighter, you know what I mean? It's always hard to critique somebody else. I get it. I saw you over there smiling. You don't want to say nothing bad towards one fighter or the other,
Right.
We got you.
And I had somebody actually reach out to me. Nobody from the Infant camp, just an outsider, saying when I wrote the article on Daniel's fight upcoming, like, why'd you put so much in the putting down the credentials of his opponent? And when I put this story out, I wanted people to respect the fact that he's going out in Vegas and taking this fight on pretty short notice, actually.
Yeah, and he's taking a fight against somebody that's not a pushover.
A very good chance that will maybe not be a world champion one day, but a very good possibility that probably will be fighting for a world championship belt one day.
And another thing too, for the listeners, these fights can actually be seen on the undercard. You can actually see Danny's
the ESPN Plus app
on the ESPN Plus app on Saturday, or it's more like early evening. Probably go off at like 6, 7 o'clock. I'm pretty sure it's usually about what time it starts. But you can watch the undercards. Which is new. Well, a lot of people that are casual boxing fans might not know that if you go to these apps now, you can actually watch the undercards and see the event, the whole event, which is good for guys such as yourself and guys like myself or Popo or guys that are coming up. They're actually able to get seen now, where before in the past, if you fought on the undercard, nobody saw you. Most of the time you were fighting in an arena with maybe 12 people and the judges and referees, and nobody ever got to see you fight. Now, and this is one of the things that you've heard me say all the time on this show, is I'm always disappointed in the undercards, when some people might be thinking like, well, how are you watching the undercards? Well, these apps, ESPN, DAZN, they're giving you the ability to see the up-and-coming fighters, and guys that are striving to make it to the big screen. You're able to see them now, and you're able to see a lot more of fighters that are coming up, and the talent level, and the young guys that are hungry, where before you didn't get to do that. So, just like you know what I mean, we're looking for that opportunity. I'm sure everybody will see, Ryizeemmion here on one of these stations here real soon.
Absolutely.
But yeah, if you want to see Danny fight as a local boy fighting on a big stage, ESPN Plus app. You can get that and probably check out the undercard and watch him whoop it on Saturday night.
And nothing but respect for Daniel, man. I mean,
Yeah, good luck, man.
Good luck. We behind you, man.
Yeah, go out there and turn up, man. Hey, it's time. Hey, you gotta show out, man.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm
show 'em
saying?
what Youngstown's about.
Yeah, don't. Hey, leave it in the ring, man.
Let them hands go.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. I'd be trying to puke on that stage. Boy. I'm trying to throw down.
Leave
You know?
something there.
And
leaving something. let everybody else smell you when you leave.
And another thing to throw out, his opponent, Sonny Kanto, is a guy who's been one of the leading sparring partners for Tyson Fury in his leading up to his matchup against Schwartz there. So it's this is a tall test, but I know Daniel's worked hard for this. He's putting trust into his ability, and I know he's going to give everything he has. And win or lose, I think this will open up some opportunities for him.
Oh, it's definitely going to open up some opportunities, and it's going to show that he's an available opponent, and he's willing to travel, and he's willing to mix it up with guys who might be on the A side of a card, which is good for guys that don't have huge amateur backgrounds, who don't have national champ. This is what guys need to do when they're trying to make a move. You know what I mean, and trying to do some things with no backing. So yeah, good for him. I hope he goes out there and brings home a win. I mean, there's been a lot of upsets. It's always about the hungrier fighter. So maybe next week we'll be having in 2 weeks we'll have him on the show with a big victory to celebrate.
I think we might break some records as far as viewership. We're breaking records right now, I think, with viewership on this show right now. I've never seen that number.
Fight Night in Youngstown. Man. We're always breaking records.
Hey, well, boxing's dead, remember?
Yeah. Boxing's supposedly dead,
Shocking.
but Canelo Alvarez was the number 4 paid highest athlete in the fiscal year of 2018, and I think our show does our show do pretty decent numbers on this station?
Dude, excellent. Very good. Except that's why I made the sarcastic remark.
Yeah.
Boxing's dead. Okay. I mean,
so
boxing's
it's just not my face then that people tune in to see.
I can't say that for sure. I'm not going to step on that one. But
Ladies, I am on
I'm
Tinder.
stepping all over that one.
Hey.
It definitely ain't your face.
boxing, and like I've said before, boxing isn't dead. The coverage of boxing is dead.
What do you
So when you do have it, people listen. They tune in. They want to know this guy here, first fight, and I got 1,000 questions about that. But
Hey, get to
I
him,
mean,
man.
because
He's our guest, brother.
There's
Hit
so
him
many
up.
fights. So many times we talk about the fights with the amateurs
Yeah.
and what you prepare for and how the style of fight that you have.
Yeah.
But now you go into a professional fight. I'm not talking about the fight. You took care of that pretty quick. So obviously you barely broke a sweat in that. But the preparation leading up to that, starting from the weigh-in to the commission coming and checking your hands and the gloves and everything else, how much different was it from what you're used to? You've had an extensive amateur career. Now you go in and now you're getting paid. They're treating it. Or do they treat it a whole lot different? I guess.
Yeah, I think they treat it a lot different. Just the atmosphere of it is just a lot different, and you fighting with no headgear on, and just the anticipation up to it and the training for it. Everything is just different mentally. Like for me, mentally, everything is different.
Well, was there a point where and I'm not familiar with the opponent you had? Obviously older, sounds like he had more experience.
He had MMA background. I'm sure he's probably had some amateur background in his day 2 boxing. He wasn't no slouch. I mean, he came to fight. I mean, no doubt about it. He
could
came
take
to fight.
a heck of a punch.
Yeah, and obviously, well, at least for one round anyway.
Yeah.
But what was the thinking at the beginning of a fighter's career to learn to put him through the process and not worry so much about the opponent? Because again, you said it's different than when you fight amateurs. You know who you're fighting. There's the dynamics of it. Even the fighting for points.
Yeah.
You don't get paid by the round. So I mean,
Right.
you want to end it, but how different is that? Going in there, is it more important about the process the first time or the fight?
I think it's a process. I think it's the
I would
process
agree
to it.
too. For
Every-
the first time, it's the process.
Everything with him has been a process, it seems like, because I remember when I started this website, Ryizeemmion was like the first outsider that I didn't have Vinny introduce me to, that I went out and reached out to myself and interviewed. And it was funny, I started this website and it was funny. I interviewed him, and I recorded the audio file and I put it on Audacity or whatever like that. And I remember I put him on speakerphone, then had a recorder up to the speakerphone, and that's how we did the interview.
Save that someday. I'm telling you, save that.
I've come a long way, man. But I remember one of the questions is, what's the plan moving forward? You know, you've won the Cleveland Golden Gloves title now, twice or something like that. Moving forward, I mean, do you want to turn pro? And the answer he gave me is when my coach says the time is right.
Yeah, I was originally supposed to turn pro 2 years ago, but I had an injury and I had hurt my foot. But, you know, everything is timing, you know. So I'm just glad I didn't, honestly, because I learned a lot more with this time 2 years from
And
now.
that was going to be my next question. Is there more of a maturity now that you had to wait those 2 years? You had to be patient, you know, and learn more. And I mean, I've seen a lot of guys get into this young. You take a Canelo Alvarez, who was 17 when he got into pro, when he turned pro. I mean, he was young.
But I also, on the flip side, I see a lot of guys turning pro young have no business turning pro.
Right.
So I think, you know, him, yeah, he might be 25 years old, but I think he's a mature 25, and they're going to fast track him. They're going to keep him busy. I mean, I think the game plan is probably get you, 6-7 fights probably in the first year?
Yeah, honestly, I'm looking at to hopefully get 5 before this year is over with.
There we go. That's what I'm talking about. They're going to keep him busy, and I know his management team, they all thanked me for coming out, covering his fight, everything I've done for his career, and I know they got a plan involved for him, and I know they're going to be careful, but I also know they know his ability.
Yeah.
And they've scouted out some guys. I was around for some of those discussions at the fights in Pittsburgh. So I think we'll see him in some dog fights sooner than later.
Is it important now to increase the rounds? You've been through the process. You've got a feeling of what it's like on fight night. Is that the next goal, to maybe get more rounds in? To get that experience?
Yeah, eventually. But right now we're not really in no rush. You know, we want to get our feet wet, and it'll all come together. And when the time is right, we'll be ready. 'Cause I mean, I spar 8 to 10 rounds like it's nothing with 30-second rest, so I'm used to it.
Yeah, and let me chime in real quick. So, like, when you're asking somebody like him them questions, right? Hey, he's been on this path for quite some time now. So, the transition from amateur to pro to where you or to Brian might seem like, is there, what was the difference? What was the change? What was it like, right? Well, when you've been training like he's been training, and I've known him, you know what I'm saying, a couple years now. His team and the trainers and the people he works with, I've known for a couple decades, and they've been around since I was coming up, So they've had him on a path for a while now, The last 2 year and a half, where he had already made up his mind that, okay, we're gonna be making this leap here real soon. They've already started transforming and developing, you know what I'm saying, him into being prepared to take on what was about to come at him. So when everybody hears him talking about this, and it seems like, it's because it's just so normal and so he was raised and brought into this and molded into, what it was going to take to make that transition. So to him, it probably doesn't feel or probably didn't really, and he probably won't for a couple years now, really respect or think about what it took and what it was like to actually have his first pro fight. You know what I mean? Right now he's in the moment. He's been training for this his whole life. Like he said, he trains 4 or 5 times a day like a professional athlete is supposed to train. He eats, sleeps, lives boxing. So like that transition to you to the outsider might seem like, oh, what was it like? What was it like? But to a fighter who's had 70 fights, who's been putting himself on a path to take this direction and achieve his goals, it just seems like, yeah, it might have been a little bit more intense on fight night and stuff because, like, the no shirt, the no headgear, the little gloves, right. The weigh-ins, all the paperwork, so that has a little bit of a factor into it. But when it comes to the training part of it, man, he's a fighter. This is what he does. This is how he operates his life. So a little bit more intense, a little bit more focus. But all in all, it's just another day in the office.
Yeah, and I would think there would be some added pressure, though, because now you're paid to do this.
Well,
this is it.
Yeah, the added
Somebody
pressure.
else is depending on you for money.
Yeah, but see, when you get to like where he's at right now in his career, and I'm not talking about just turning pro. I'm talking about all that's already been set in. You know what I mean? That's already all been in the back of the mind, that debate, all that thought process has already been worked through. You know what I'm saying? Hey, he's doing the same thing he normally does. Now he's just getting a paycheck for it. You know,
Yes, sir.
at this point in time, it's like this. So hey, he's got these guys out here now. It's like, yo, go put these guys to sleep. That's what they're there for. You know what I'm saying?
No more fighting for points here.
Yeah, hey,
right.
these first 10 fights are put people to sleep fights.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Go out here and get that work, get it in quick. You know what I'm saying? The rounds will come with patience, hey, as the opponents start to improve. Because see, like when you're a young fighter like he is right now, he's the A side. You see what I'm saying? So it's knock people out now. Those rounds will come when they come. You know what I'm saying? When they come around, he'll be ready for him. He's already ready for him. He just, you know what I'm saying, beginning stages, he's got the right team around him. He's got guys that have been in the boxing business for quite some time. He's a motivated young fighter who's, you know what I'm saying, more mature because he is 25 years old. You know what I'm saying? He isn't a 17, 18, 19, 20-year-old kid, you know what I mean? Like even they're young adults, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you ask me, young adults, 20 years old, you're still, you can't even have a drink.
I'm a grown man.
Yeah, grown man, yeah.
You have quite the following. Social media is blowing up. Brian Dunn says you're not the A side, you're the A plus side.
There you
There we
go.
go.
Hey,
Yeah.
let him know. Yes, sir.
Did you did you have a celebration drink after you win, or you know, I mean?
That's classified information.
I had one for you.
Thank you.
I had 6 for you. 7, 8, 10.
I had
That's
one
where he
for you
lost
right
count.
before we came on air.
Nah, I got my pregame margarita and Penguin City beer, and no, it was a tremendous atmosphere there. I mean, the Alliance showed up.
Yeah, the city
They did,
was
man. It was
definitely behind
awesome,
me.
man. It was loud in there. The amateur fights, and what was awesome is, they showed up and they had a while to wait for your fight, but the amateur fights, as I said earlier, they were spectacular. So it had the crowd going, it had the energy level high, and then all of a sudden you let off the pro side of the card, and dude, the crowd was on their feet from the get-go, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think probably I bet you there's no gas stations open on Alliance that night, man. I think everybody in Alliance was this was the most Alliance has to celebrate outside of Mount Union football. And when Mount Unions win the national title every year, it probably gets like kind of old.
It's just expected.
Yeah, it's just expected. So it's awesome that we are going to break. We'll be back here in a minute. Fight Night in Youngstown. Brian, Vinny, special guest Ryizeemmion Ford, Gessler Propane Studio here in Struthers, Ohio. We'll be right back.
Okay, what are you wearing right now?
Nothing.
That's right. So mommy's gonna teach you how to dress yourself. Underwear always comes first, name tag at the back, then pants, then shirt. Get the first button in the right hole or you have to start all over. Socks going first, then shoes, right on right, left on left. With shoelaces, just take the ends, cross them over, switch the loops, the rabbit goes down the hole, pull tight, and you're left with bunny ears. Got it? Why are your pants on your head?
Most parenting's hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. Visit tunein2x.org to find out more. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
This message is for all of you sitting in the passenger seat. And apologies if it gets a little uncomfortable. But how does it feel to be at the mercy of someone who thinks a random text is more important than your life? Someone who takes their eyes off the road while speeding along in a 3-ton hunk of steel. Freaky, right? Well, why not just ask them to stop? Or better yet, volunteer to text for them. It might be a little awkward, but believe me, you'll live.
Learn more at stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
We are live outside the home of Joe and Rosie Goddard, where a pretty big tickle fight broke out just minutes ago. Sources say their father instigated the laughter. Let's go inside for a comment. Apparently, they have no comment. Dads, let this be a reminder that it only takes a moment to make a moment. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
How's it going? I'm having a stroke. Are you going to shake my hand? I'm having a stroke. Wow, you're not even moving your arm. I'm having a stroke.
When someone is having a stroke, they may not be able to say it with words, but their body language will tell you loud and clear. Look for FAST. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911. on immediately. Know the sudden signs. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
We are back at it, Gessler Propane Studio, Western Reserve Radio. You can check them out, www.westernreserveradio.com. You can find them on the TuneIn Radio app or pretty much any app. Jim, where all can you hear us?
Oh, everywhere. WesternReserveRadio.com, Live 365, TuneIn, iRadio.com, and the other 50 other apps. We're.
And this is always the time where I give you like a minute or two to kind of touch
we're
base what's going on.
Coming up, we got a busy week. Starting with tomorrow, it's the Mahoning Valley Coaches Association Jack Arvin Classic, the 35th edition. It's going to be the Columbiana
That's tomorrow night?
That is tomorrow night.
Anybody from Liberty on the roster?
I'm sure there is. You can go to scoutingohio.com on Twitter, and they have a roster up there, actually. So we'll take a look there. But that's going to be the Columbiana Mahoning squads taking on Trumbull County. That's going to be 6:50 airtime right here on Western Reserve Radio. 7 o'clock kickoff. Hopefully the weather will hold off. And that's going to originate from Bo Ryan Stadium in Niles. And on Friday morning, of course, you can catch Mark Means, Matt Emsch and I out at the links at Firestone Farms for the Applewood Swim and Tennis Club golf outing. So we'll be out there on a remote. We'll talk some sports. Give us a call. And then on Saturday, of course, as always, Cleveland Cobras football returns for a 6:50 pregame, 7 o'clock kickoff as the Cobras take on the West Virginia Smash in Game 2 of their annual series. The Cobras coming away with a 26-20 win in Clarksburg, West Virginia in Week 2 of the GDFL season. And then, of course, we talked earlier about the high school football season coming up here, debuting August 29th. So a lot going on here. And we have a lot of people listening and a lot of people following right now, and I think this guy over here is attracting a lot of attention.
Yeah, the Lions Aviator fan base is coming out full droves there. So we'll get back with Ryizeemmion. And, let's turn it back to early, man. Why did you get into boxing?
My uncle Desi Ford.
Okay.
He boxed. He had a real high amateur pedigree. Over 200-some amateur fights. He fought Oscar De La Hoya. Then he turned pro. So he was one of the reasons why, him traveling the world and hearing all the stories and stuff that he did. So I got 6 brothers, man. We all started boxing, but I was the only one who stuck with it. So, and my older brother, he could fight, real good. So I'm just like, let me get into this. Maybe I'll be able to beat him up one day. So now I can take them all out. But yeah, man, my uncle is one of the reasons why I started.
About what age did you kind of start?
I was messing around with it at the age of 13 a little bit, but I didn't really get serious until like 17. So
you started fighting amateur and you started excelling, obviously, and all of a sudden it hit your mind, man, this is something I want to do. But at what point did you kind of realize that, I got a chance to maybe put a alliance on my back? Hey, and real quick, Jim.
Yes, sir.
Throw the phone number out there for anybody who's listening. Maybe they want to call in and talk to Ryizeemmion.
Yeah, by all means. Call in 330-707-4202. 707-4202. Lines are open.
And I think, if you're watching the thing, it should have the phone number on the...
Yeah, if you're watching on Facebook, you can go to Western Reserve Radio. There's a live picture up there, and you get to see what's going on in the studio and Brian's just handsome face.
Handsome.
Y'all
face.
call in, ask me some questions.
That'd be awesome. I want to see that. I want to see that white strobe light flashing, man. I want to see some. I definitely want to see some action on that phone line. But you said you decided, there comes a time where you realize you're gonna be able to take that to the next level, and you said you had a little bit of a setback with a foot injury.
Yeah, I was messing around doing stuff I shouldn't have been doing, playing basketball.
Oh, wait, time out, man. Sometimes I see you on Facebook, though, posting, trying to get some pickup games going.
Oh, yeah.
You see that? You see that over there? I see it. I seen this. You're on Fight Night Live in Youngstown. Who we got calling in?
Hey, man, this is Philly. I just wanted to holler at my man for a minute. What's up, Zim?
What's up, Phil?
This is one of your managers, right?
Yep, this is my manager, Philly.
Yeah.
Yeah. You look good on the air, boy.
Thank you.
I met Philly when we were at the fights in Pittsburgh at home at the where was those fights at in Pittsburgh?
Over the Priory.
Yeah, over the Priory. I met you there. I was the one that was over there.
Right.
On stage with you.
You sat up there with us. How you been, man?
Man, doing good, man.
Here, man. Whoever don't know, man, this kid is the next big thing, man. This is the start of something big here. Works hard, fights it. You see how he fight. Works hard, man. Whoever don't know, they're in for a treat.
As one of his managers, man, we were talking, man, hoping to get something in July, possibly in Pittsburgh. What kind of activity you want to see him do? Monthly fights, something about that.
Well, you don't put this kind of thing on a schedule. This ain't basketball, you know.
Yeah.
We gonna line them up as fast as they don't mind falling down.
That's what I like to hear, man. That's awesome.
As fast as they don't mind falling down, we're gonna get this boy to where he can go. Excuse me, man. I say boy a whole lot, but we know what it is.
Yeah.
We gonna run him up the ladder as fast as he can go, and I really think the sky's the limit. Me and my man Derek, since the first conversation, you know what I mean, we never done nothing like this. Just be this anxious and this accommodating to sign a guy we had never seen fight. We had to bring him to Pittsburgh for a fight, for an amateur fight up in Cheswick.
Yeah.
To make sure what we felt was real, and he handled it like the pro he is. And we just, I don't know, we did this off a feeling, man, like that, like they signed with us from a feeling. And it turned out to be something great here, and it's going down. You saw the beginning of it. It's going to be like that a lot. Checking out the 13th here, and it's not like it's like round 2.
And that's it, man. He's got a great team around him between you and Derek. His coaches Lorenzo Scott and Greg Sampson. People who's got his best interest, know the sport. And no, you're absolutely right, man. And Leslie Washington, who's the Great Lakes Association. She's not the head of it, but she's pretty much she is. She's but I remember being at a fight with her, and she told me, she goes, you know what? There's a young kid, that's in the Great Lakes Association who could be a real champion one day, and that's Ryizeemmion Ford. And and she's absolutely correct, man. And for me and Leslie that night, Saturday night, as I told, man, Ryizeemmion was like the first person I reached out to for my website to kind of cover on my own. And Leslie thinking so highly of you. It was almost like coming full circle for my website. When it's in its third year, to see this young man that I interviewed, as an amateur, just kind of waiting for him to turn pro, and there it was in front of me, and it was amazing. And meeting you guys at the Priory a couple months ago, talking to you, and I think was Greg there with you too that night?
Yeah, he was
there. And talking to Greg and everybody, man, I just knew that this kid's in good hands. They got his best interest, and
Yes, we do.
and I cannot wait to see where this goes. And I told Ryizeemmion, man, I'm along for this ride, man. It's gonna be a fun ride.
Good. Happy to have you. Hey, look, man, we got to do the best we can do, man. He's with a good team. Those coaches we met like on humbug. It was real abstract, but you see from the gate that he was with pros. They're good people as well as professionals. And it's like I always tell them, there's no better feeling than being able to manage a guy that we know is in good hands when he's not with us. They have him in a position where he can do whatever he wants to do with this sport. He can do whatever he wants to do with this sport. I just got in, I was out walking the dog and realized it was 8:00. Came in the house to see my man. Look, I'm gonna get off of here, man. It ain't about us. It's about him. Jim, I'll talk to you soon, man.
Yes,
Go ahead
sir.
and do your thing.
All right. Thanks for calling in, brother. All right, man. Well, hey, we got a call in. That was awesome. I mean, you see that little white strobe light coming. I love when I see that thing.
You get so excited.
Yeah, I'm like a dog when the owner pulls in, wagging tail. I finally get a treat, But
Unless you have epilepsy, then
yeah,
throw you to a seizure.
But no, man, you got a great team behind you. Yeah, I mean your coaches, your team, and look at that strobe light.
I can see him perk up like that.
Fight night in Youngstown. Who we got calling in?
Good, Dad.
Hey, how's it going? You want to talk to Ryizeemmion?
Yeah.
What's up?
So, Johnny, I'm trying to figure out, talking to some of my friends, I'm trying to figure out what it feel like. Everybody talking about you got the potential to be the GOAT and boxing coming out of Alliance.
It feels good, man. It feels great, man. I'm just trying to motivate the city, man. We got too much talent for people not to be, chasing their dreams. So I just want to be, a prime example of somebody that anything is possible if you work hard.
Yeah. We appreciate it, man. A lot of people motivated by you, man. Keep doing it. Keep
Yes,
fighting
sir.
and keep going hard.
Thank you. I will.
All right. Good. Thanks for the call, man. Dude, you're a celebrity. I mean, Alliance. I mean, it's. I want to say it's a small town, you
small,
know,
man.
but it's
It's smaller.
Yeah, it's smaller, you know. It's but I mean, if you were to go into like a mini mart now, you know, wherever to pick up, you know, some water, or something. Everybody know who you are now.
Yeah. Yeah. I was at Sheets the other day. You know, people was asking to take pictures, and today, you know, people asking to take pictures and sign the newspaper and all that. So it feels good though. It's
fun,
feels
right?
Good. It's humbling though.
It's fun, right?
Yeah, it is fun. It is fun.
And you were there in November when he stole the show that night, and
yeah.
you know, and all night, you know, whenever we go, hey, look at that strobe, look at that strobe light.
You were just amused by that strobe,
man.
aren't you?
He loves it.
It
He
doesn't
loves
take
it.
much.
Fight night in Youngstown. Who we got calling in?
This is Ree.
What's
This
up?
is his sister.
What's up, sis?
Is this
What's
your
up?
sister?
Yeah, my sister.
Oh, there we go.
I just wanted to congratulate you. We love you.
Thank you. I love you too.
All right, keep it going.
All right.
This is awesome, man. I'm starting to feel like Delilah. Delilah. No, but you say you got the support of your family and stuff. We got his friend in studio with us.
We almost had a man down.
Well, dude, do you see that? Fight night in Youngstown. Who we got calling in?
Hey, guys. Vinny, Brian.
Hey, yo.
This is Marcus, Ohio Runs.
The hat.
Oh, dude, Ohio runs Marcus.
Oh, what's good? What's good,
yes.
my man?
Now this is an
good,
all-star
guys.
show. Marcus, you were at the fights on Saturday, weren't you?
No, I didn't make it this week, man. I had a
Oh,
family
okay.
emergency this week. I definitely wanted to see him perform, man.
Yeah.
I definitely. First, congratulations on your victory, man.
Thank
and,
you. Thank you.
First thing I want to say, that outfit was fire.
Thank you. Thank you.
That was awesome.
Shout out to Aaron Harrison.
Man, he not only looked good, but he performed good. You got to be able to perform good when you look good.
Ain't that the truth?
Facts.
Now, Marcus, he was taking on another Ohio fighter, so were you a little conflicted at all, or do you know where the A side was?
I got a relationship with him. Some of it also, you know, the conflicts. It hurts me sometimes to see my Ohio boys go at it.
Yeah.
But they got to. It has to happen. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? You know, it has to
Especially
happen.
early on the career, you're gonna get that stuff at time to time, but but you know where the future lied with the sport, you know what I mean? And
Absolutely. Alliance showed out, man. It's good to see different fighters from all over Ohio coming out. Definitely out of Alliance. I think they're known for the Raiders, right?
Yep. Purple Raiders.
If I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
The Purple Raiders?
Yep. Mount Union.
Red Raiders?
Yep.
Not Red Raiders. I think the Purple.
I think Red Raiders is Texas Tech.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Good football program. Good football program. But yeah, man, it's definitely excited. Question I wanted to ask you, man, one of the questions was, how did you feel getting a TKO performance in your debut, man? Like, how is that feeling? You didn't just win, but you won impressive.
It felt great, man. It still right now. It still feel unreal, but I gotta, realize that it is real. It happened, but it felt
Was
great.
this a schedule as a 4-round fight?
Yeah, it was scheduled 4 rounds. Yeah, but it felt great, man, especially to do it in front of my city, man, and everybody being out there. The atmosphere was just crazy, man. It was just hype, so it was great.
Yeah, that's a pretty big deal. I mean, to have your pro debut on, I mean, it really wasn't really a club show per se. I mean, that was a legit, facility, close enough to home. Some guys aren't blessed enough to be able to fight that close to home in their debut. So, that was awesome for you to be able to put on for your hometown like that.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Did you have a little butterflies going in the stomach before you?
That's so crazy you asked that, but no, I did not. Like, just everything from the back, like warming up and just getting ready for it. It just, I didn't feel anything. Just everything just felt right. I felt like I belonged. Like I was just meant to be there.
Do you remember what I told you 2 weeks before that fight?
Yeah, somewhat. I'm kind of slim to it, but I remember you telling me something though when I did see you at the other fight show. You said,
No, it was just it was simple. It was just telling you to lock in. Don't worry about who's coming.
Yep.
It's important. I saw that. That's the reason why I brought that up, man. You was locked in. You was focused. I believe
sir.
Brian did some of the film work, if I ain't mistaken.
Yeah.
Great job, Brian, on you covering that.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, that was really, you was locked in, man. You did you looked great. It's the first of many W's coming from Ohio. You already know. I will be at the next one.
Okay, cool.
For sure.
I'm looking forward to seeing you, man. Make sure you got that hat.
Yeah.
Marcus, if you can ever make it into Youngstown, like on like a weekday, like on a Wednesday
between 8 and 9.
Between 8 and 9, dude. I would love to have you in studio sometime with the hat.
I will, man. I will promise, man. I will definitely get that set up and arranged, man. It was the first time I came to Youngstown a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
That was the first time in years, man. So I had to get Bellaria's pizza. I had to catch up on a lot of stuff, man. I was like, this is home.
You could get fat eating all the good food in Youngstown, for sure.
Yeah.
You should see me
but that's
right
all I
now.
wanted to say, man. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Love the show, guys. Y'all keep it going. And you know me, man. Ohio all day.
Oh, yeah.
We're only getting bigger. It's going to get stronger. We're going to grow bigger, baby. But Ohio runs boxing. I'm out, guys.
Yes,
Thanks,
sir.
brother.
Peace.
Man, you got all kinds of comments coming in on Facebook. Nicholas Duggan there. Let's go, champ. Big support from Cleveland. Keep grinding, brother. Des McMahon, is that who just called in?
Yeah.
Yep. He got big things to say. What it feel like when he called in and
We just feel like when we see him drop to his knees.
Yeah.
You know exactly how that.
Dude,
goes,
that dude was glassy eyed, man.
Yeah.
He got dropped right in front of me, and he was glass. Look at that, the strobe light.
Feel like Superman.
Seizure time.
I'm working overtime here.
Oh man.
Your arms getting
Fight
tired.
night in Youngstown. Who we got on the line?
Austin Lilly.
What's up, boy?
How you doing?
I'm good. Well, what's up?
Hey, man, I just wanted to call in, let you know I'm proud of you, man, all the way from Louisiana.
Yes,
Sorry I
sir.
couldn't make your fight, man.
It's all good. Thank you.
Man, from
Yes, sir.
Louisiana, I
You
like
put
it.
in the
Say it
Yes,
again.
sir. Love you, man.
All right, love you too, boy. Yep.
Man, from all over the country already. It's a lot of pressure building up right now. I mean,
This is awesome, man. I mean, I knew that he was going to be a big draw, but I didn't know he was going to make us a big draw on, fight night in Youngstown. This is awesome, man. I'm hoping that maybe I'll go to Sheets later and somebody will want to take their picture with me.
what you want to take it by the door where they have the measurements? By the that's.
I could probably make that happen. I just won't pay for my 6-inch meatball splash.
Yeah, you'll get your picture, all right. It'll be all over the news after that.
Yeah, what? Your meatball splash.
I mean, you had the big successful debut in that. How is it out of the ring now? A lot you got to be careful of. I mean, not everybody's gonna want to see you succeed. That's just because that's
haters
human
are
nature.
gonna hate, and
But-
the sad thing is sometimes your haters are the closest one to you.
And you got to be careful. And Vinny will tell you, he's been around the block that, where we've
Couple
seen that. But, there's that temptation out there.
There's gonna be jealousy.
How do you close yourself off from that now? Because now they know you. They know your face.
Yeah.
So there's always going to be that one guy.
I'm just
Or
locked.
girl.
I'm just locked in, man. I have a daughter. She's 3 months, and I just got to make sure I do the right thing for her. So that's why I'm locked in, man. 24/7.
Fight night in Youngstown. Who we got calling in?
This is Robert.
What's up?
Robert Fountain. What's up, man?
What's up, man?
How you doing, bro? Hey, man, just like everybody else, man, I want to get on, man, publicly and just congratulate you, man.
Thank you.
Let you know, man, we proud of you, man, and I just believe, man, whatever took place the other day, which I was there to witness, I just believe was just a glimpse, man, of what's going to happen for you in this game, man. I'm excited for you, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Oh yeah, man, I'm out, man. But hey, you know where I'm at, man.
Best barber in the
Appreciate you,
business,
man. Love
Robert
you,
Fountain.
man. What you
I said best barber in the business.
So
got you, man. I got you.
when
All
I
right, boy,
regrow
love you.
this mullet, that's what I'm gonna go see to get my mullet cut. Thanks for calling in, Robert. This is everybody who's called in, man. I cut my
You
hair.
already
Vinny.
cut it, man. Jim,
I'm gonna
Jim,
restart
hey,
growing it.
Hey,
With a
he cut his
Flowbee-
mullet.
With a Flowbee.
No, he wasn't supposed to cut that thing.
Oh.
You're in violation, bro.
I'm saved by the
Yeah,
Flash.
violation.
Fight Night in Youngstown. Who we got on the line?
You wait.
Oh.
Hello?
Probably one of those telemarketers. We get those once in a while. I want to get like the IRS scam guy calling in.
Oh, there it is again.
Somebody.
Oh, good thing that line opened up.
Hear that voice?
Fight Night in Youngstown. Who we got on the line?
This is Jim Jones, a.k.a. Big Cuz.
What's up, cuz? What's up?
What's going on with you?
Nah, man, chilling. What's up?
All right, man. I just want to congratulate you, man. Definitely put it on for the A. Appreciate you, man. You definitely, keeping everybody motivated because we watch you on everything. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter.
Yes, sir.
All that MySpace, too.
Oh, he dropped a mic. I used to have a shirt that said "MySpace ruins lives."
I
Thank
want
you,
to say,
man. I
I love
appreciate
you,
it.
man.
Love you too, bro.
That's a good one.
All right, I'm out.
All right.
Thanks for calling in, man. This is awesome, man. I'm
going to need a second line here pretty soon.
I'm hoping that these people who are, we're not going to have Ryizeemmion on every week because he's got training to do, but I'm hoping that y'all, continue to maybe tune in time to time as I, keep everybody up on the Youngstown and regional boxing scene. But definitely, man, he's going to be on definitely again.
Yeah, we're going to have to keep up here because there's two extremes here. You got Ryizeemmion, who's just getting, just had his first professional fight. You got Vinny, who's been around the game for quite a while. I mean,
he said forever, like I'm ancient.
But considering where he is and where you're at,
he said we had Vinny.
Then you got me.
He's been ancient.
And the thing is, when you start to meet these guys, and it happened with Kelly too. When Kelly was in the ring, it was kind of personal. You felt every shot. You got nervous. You got in the ring in November, Vinny, and I'm sweating. I'm like, he hasn't been in a while. There's a crowd is great. It's a good time. And you start to meet guys. And it's devastating for like a guy like me to watch. And I'm like, wow. The pressure that's on you and the crowd that's cheering. I mean, he lit it up in November. Vinny stole the show. You were there for that. That's where I got to meet you.
He helped me prepare for that, man.
I mean,
right, like what, 2 weeks before, man.
2 weeks before,
he gave me some really good, intense sparring and kind of, let me see some things that I wasn't seeing from my own sparring partners in the gym, and it allowed me in the last couple weeks to fine tune and see some of the mistakes I was making. With a guy that was longer and faster, and I knew that the guy that I was fighting, being younger than me, was going to be a little bit faster and longer arms and stuff. He's bigger than me, so. When I got that work from you, it refined what I was already, trying to prepare to do, and I was able to make some adjustments over the last couple weeks to, fill some voids where I was lacking that day when we sparred. I was getting hit with some shots that, normally as a fighter, you shouldn't be getting hit with, but it was the hand speed and the length and. But it let me make some adjustments that I hadn't been able to make, but I got to see firsthand, and I know. Listen, I ain't out here playing. I knew I was getting the light work. You know what I mean? He was giving me some easy work for him. He was getting some easy work, but it helped me fine tune and refine some of the things and help me embark on being able to be successful that night. And I don't know if I'm sure I did, but I really appreciated that, and it helped me out a bunch. And I know that you probably didn't realize it then, but all the way down to the way you were flicking your jab out and turning that hip a little bit, and getting that extra half an inch on your punch. You know what I'm saying? Let me go back and be like, yo, the way he was throwing that jab, and look, I altered my jab a little bit based off what you showed me that day. From hitting me.
Nah, hey, I appreciate you too, though, man. Like your aggressiveness, I needed that. You know what I'm saying? Especially for me being a taller fighter and fighting shorter guys. The way you are aggressive and come forward, so I need that too. So
yeah. So hey, I kind of had you know what I'm saying. I knew you was gonna be successful. I know you're gonna be successful. That's not here nor there. You know what I'm saying? You work hard. You know what I'm saying? You're hungry. You're focused. You got good people behind you. My question I had, you know what I'm saying, I've been waiting to ask is because I know this is usually a little different when guys make the jump from amateur to pro. In the amateurs, we're not forced to sell tickets.
No.
You know what I'm saying? But as a pro, that's how, I don't know what your situation was, but that's how you make extra money, is selling them tickets. And, me, over the years, I've always been, I got my boys and stuff. They're like, oh, yeah, I'll get a ticket. Hey, all the way to the night of, they're still trying to call me for tickets. They're calling me for tickets because they didn't get them in advance. I'm like, well, I don't have them no more, right? The selling the tickets part adds a whole nother frustration type, keeps you on the go. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you got to meet people.
I've seen your postings, yeah.
Yeah.
Man, it's frustrating, honestly, man, to have them, you know, especially when you're trying to train and then people popping up into the gym while you're working out and you got to stop what you're doing just to hand them a ticket. It's frustrating, but, you know, it's kind of motivating, too.
Yeah.
All those people coming up to try to watch you and stuff. So
Well, he had what brought this to my attention earlier and made me think about this was when he said, you know, about the added pressure and the added, hey, when you're specifically hey, you know those people are coming now.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like I handed you a ticket, you gave me cash, you're coming.
Right.
You know what I mean? At a certain point, you start realizing like, okay, I sold 200 tickets. I got 200 people coming to see me.
Right.
You know what I mean? They're coming to the show, but they're coming to see me. 200 tickets. You know. Then your sponsors and your team. You know that adds a little bit more pressure than what you're used to as an amateur fighter. But if you're anything like me, and I'm sure you're like this too, that added pressure is it fuels you.
Yeah.
It puts, you know, that pressure, you put it on your shoulders yourself, and it makes you a real fighter blossom. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, you know, we look forward. We put that on ourselves. We look forward to that. You think about it all the time coming up. Yo,
Do you know fighters that have crumbled under that pressure? They just said, I can't handle this.
Man, listen.
I don't want any good fighters, but just couldn't handle that end of it?
I've seen, listen, Anthony Joshua.
Oh, the Drake curse, though.
Anthony Joshua.
The Drake curse.
Listen,
and dude, I'm telling you right now, if the Warriors come back from 3-1 and win that series, especially with the injuries, dude, the Drake curse is never going away.
Anthony Joshua got in front of MSG in America, and he pooped the bed.
Am I allowed to say jizzed his pants?
Four knockdowns. He just wasn't ready for that.
Hey, so
he skeeted.
Being since I brought it up, I'm just gonna say like this because this is my opinion of the whole thing. Right from round one, I kept thinking to myself, he's gonna lose this. He's gonna lose this because he don't want to fight Deontay Wilder. And I ain't mad at him.
Smoke.
I ain't mad at him.
Yeah.
I ain't mad at him. He couldn't eat Andy Ruiz's right hand. What's he gonna? Hey, Deontay
and
Wilder
Andy
might
Ruiz
kill
ate
him.
everything before the fight. So
yeah, hey, that was a good one. Hey, but Deontay Wilder might kill him. He might kill him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I ain't mad at him. I was saying right from the first round, I said, yo, this dude's about to give up his belts and let that dude go take that whooping. For real. Here, bro. Here's my belts. I had them long enough. Here, go make a couple dollars and get your head ripped off.
Right.
I don't need that. And then I'll, you know, hey, in the process too, I'll get another fight with you, you know, and you know, buy me some time. And that's it.
I'll tell you what, that was one of the fastest hours that ever went by on our show. Special thanks to Ryizeemmion Ford for coming out. Vinny, myself, Jim Craven, Ryizeemmion's friend who made the trip out with him, and
almost fell off his chair. He almost fell off his chair.
That was fun, man.
But hey, for all y'all that know who's with him, he almost fell off his chair.
We're definitely going to have him on again, no doubt about that.
We're going to follow this young man, I tell you.
Hey, I just want to remind everybody, man. You know, you see somebody on the street, just be kind to them, man, because everybody in life's fighting some kind of struggle, and it's not necessarily known to everybody. So, you know, just pick one another up, man. You know, you don't know what kind of battles everybody's fighting. So just be kind, keep your head on a swivel, protect yourself at all times, and keep fighting on Youngstown. We're out.
This is number 90, Hassan Collin, and you're listening to Western Reserve Radio, home of the Cleveland Cobras on westernreserveradio.com.
Quicken Loans presents the Sports Flash, driven by Jeep on Western Reserve Radio.
The pitch. Swung out line right to left. Base hit. The Indians winning. A game winner. The first in the Major League career of Oscar Mercado. He walks the tribe off.
They call on the Cleveland Indians radio network in last night's 10-inning 2-1 victory over the Cincinnati Reds. Cleveland took a 1-0 lead in the bottom of the fourth. The Reds tied it in the top of the fifth, and they battled on from there. Trevor Bauer went 7 2/3. He gave up a run on 6 hits. He walked 5, but struck out 6. On the other side, Reds starting pitcher Luis Castillo gave up 4 hits, 1 run. He pitched 6 innings. He walked 2 and struck out 6. Internationally, Durham beat Toledo 5-4. Rochester 4-3 winners over Columbus. Scranton beat Norfolk 4-1. Buffalo 2-0 winners at Indianapolis. Start building your legend today. It's the Jeep Celebration event going on now at your local Jeep dealer. The Sports Flash is driven by Jeep. Chuck Sanders, Western Reserve Radio.
Blue Star medicated ointment works fast to relieve the pain and itch of almost any skin irritation. It's amazing. It's like as soon as you put it on, you can feel it working. We've had Blue Star in the family for years. It works on everything.
I love the cooling sensation on my athlete's foot.
What a relief for my eczema.
Nothing worked on my dry, cracked skin until I tried Blue Star.
Blue Star is great for scalp itch.
Look for the white box with the blue star in the first aid section. Feel Blue Star work fast or your money back.
Hi, I'm Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans. 30% of Americans who are planning home improvements of $5,000 or more will pay for those renovations with a high-interest credit card. That may not be a great idea. A better idea may be to take cash out of your home with a Quicken Loans 30-year fixed-rate mortgage. The rate today on our 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is 4.375%. APR 4.65%. Call us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com.
Rates subject to change. Pay 2.13% fee to receive this discounted rate. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. License in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
Hamilton was adopted from a rescue in 2008. He really likes to be around people. I get out my mat and I'm doing a downward dog and he's underneath. He's quite the pug about town. He gets invited to a lot of parties. He knows he's a pretty big deal. Look at this little face. How could you not love him?
Hamilton the Pug, Instagram star and